to Yoga for Recovery. I will have a timestamp below so that way if you have done this sequence, you can always use that to jump right to the beginning. I do have 3 quick notes I want to mention. So 1, if you haven't done this sequence before, make sure that you read the description below for any modifications or explanations that might be helpful to you. So number 2, make sure that you have a bolster with you or a pillow, as well as a block, and if you don't have a block, just grab another pillow, that will do just fine. We'll use them a little bit later into the sequence, so for now, just keep them off to the side, but within reach. And lastly, this is a restorative sequence. I personally love doing restorative towards the end of the day, towards the evening, because my intention always with when I go into a restorative sequence is to really get that deep relaxation, calm the breathing down immensely so that I can get a good night's sleep. However, people do use restorative practices in the morning when they wake up, at their lunch break, and this is because of the intention that you go into the class with. So for example, if you use the restorative sequence in the morning, your intention with your breath during the class will be to re-energize yourself and awaken your body. You might keep your eyes more open than someone like I would during the evening sequence where I'd close my eyes more often. So you make little modifications like that as well, as well as going in with that intention of what you want out of the practice and use the breath and the movement towards that. I'd love to hear your thoughts about if you do test it out at different times of day and what works best for you. Now, getting started, we are going to start on our backs, so come all the way down onto the mat. And we're going to be in butterfly legs. So you're going to have the soles of the feet together and knees apart. So getting nice and comfortable.
Make sure your palms are facing up to keep the shoulders rotating open. With a few gentle blinks, allow the eyes to close, giving yourself this chance to simply arrive on the mat and in your space. Just follow the natural breath. Inhale, feeling calm and uplifted. Exhale any judgment or pressure within you. As soon as we bring the awareness completely to the breath, these 3 things, the body, mind, and the breath, merge together. We are drawing ourselves into this present moment. We are taking care of our body and mind by simply stopping to breathe. With mindfulness, we get to draw our attention to what is here, what is deep inside, that true nature of what is in front of us. Remember, though, that the mind may wander. It takes practice to keep focus on the breath. But when the mind wanders, just acknowledge it, then continue the practice of pushing the thought aside and coming back to the breath each and every time. Inhale peace, positivity, and feel yourself revitalizing your body and mind. Exhale, releasing what no longer serves you, letting go of nerves, anxiousness, and heaviness. Softly wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing our minds back to our physical body. If your knees are still apart, gently lift them back together and straighten them down the mat. Reach the arms over the head and take a nice long body stretch. Begin by bringing that left knee to the chest. Hug it nice and tight. And begin to draw little circles with the knee. Making sure to go in both directions. Always keep that balance in the hip. And then stopping back in the center, allow that left knee to drop over to the right side for a gentle twist. Make sure to be very gentle here, no need to push it. We're just at the start where we want to lightly warm up the body. Lifting the knee back up and straightening it down the mat. Of course, bringing that right knee to the chest. Hug it nice and tight. And then start to draw those little circles with the knees, going both directions. And then stopping in the center, allow that right knee to drop over to the left, just for another gentle twist. Allowing the knee to just hang, no need to force it. Begin to lift the knee back up, bringing both knees to the chest, and you can either roll to one side or begin to rock back and forth till you come up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Sitting nice and tall, start by bringing that right ear to the right shoulder, right hand up and over to the left ear, and just tug down gently. Really feel that left shoulder sinking away from the ear, helping to deepen the stretch. You can also deepen it by bringing that left arm and wrapping it behind the back, but still make sure that you're breathing to the neck, to the throat, allowing it to open. And release, bringing the left ear to the left shoulder, left hand up and over to the right ear, and again just tug down gently, this time feeling that right shoulder sinking away from the ear. Again, you can always deepen it further by bringing that right hand behind the back, wrapping it behind, still breathing to the neck. We tend to carry most of our tension in our shoulders, so we really want to make sure to release that. And release, bringing the hands to the mat in front and start to walk them over to the right side. Right hand comes further behind you, left hand to the knee to help push a bit deeper, and then take your gaze to the back. But if you do have anything like arthritis or neck injuries, just keep your gaze forwards. Shoulders nice and open, still sitting tall, and begin to walk those hands back to the center and over to the left. The left hand comes further behind, right hand on the knee to help push a bit deeper. Again, take that gaze to the back. And begin to walk the hands back to the center, drape them over the knees, and then inhale, puff that chest forwards. Exhale, start to draw a circle with your back, rounding it when you get there. Continue drawing these circles. Inhale, puffing the chest. Exhale, rounding that back. As big or as small movements as you may need. Let the body, the spine warm up. Make sure to go in both directions as well. Keep that balance in the body. Feel any creaks or cracks happening. And begin to roll your way back to the center. And still keeping the hands draped over the knees. As you inhale, you're going to puff that chest forwards, tilt the chin up, gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, round through that mid-back, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, come forwards, feel that pelvis tipping up, shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, round through that mid-back, shoulders separate. Inhale forwards, and exhale, push back. Inhale forwards, exhale, push back, and then coming back to the center. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. As you inhale, lift the knees up together. And exhale, open up the knees and reach that chest down towards the mat. Inhale, lift the knees back up, and exhale, reach back down with that chest. Continue this cycle about 5 times, following your own pace. And on that 5th time, you're going to hold, reaching that chest forwards and down. And on that 5th one, make sure that you feel the pelvis tipping up as if you're trying to stick that butt out behind you and then reach from that chest forwards and down. If you want to make it even more restorative, you're going to grab that bolster and place it horizontally over top of your shins. This way you can allow your stomach, your chest, your arms to just simply hang over that bolster. Once you get comfortable, you can always allow your eyes to close. That will really help the body, the mind begin to relax at an just easier pace. Let the neck relax. And always come back to that breath. Really feel every inhale that you're taking in and every exhale that you're releasing. If you do find it hard to stay focused on that breath, maybe say the words inhale and exhale each time you breathe. Therefore, you're still focusing on something, but at least you're on that breath. And gently begin to lift your way back up and just slide that bolster to the side. Lift those knees back together and let yourself rock them a little side to side, just keeping everything nice and loose. Then from here, we're going to open up the legs, the knees as wide as they can go, knees and toes pointed up. Same as before, we want to make sure that we're tipping that pelvis up and then reaching from that chest forwards and down. Here again, you can grab that bolster and place it horizontally in front of you to rest on. And if this is just a little too low, you can always take that bolster and place it vertically on the floor in front and rest your forehead on the top of that bolster. So find what works best where you are for today and allow yourself again to get a little bit more comfortable. Let your body just sink into that bolster below you. Allow your neck to relax. Let the eyes softly close again. If you do find that you have any knee issues, knee injuries, and this is pulling right at underneath the knee, you can always micro bend the knees a little bit before laying down forwards towards that bolster. And maybe even before you come back to that breath, give yourself a body scan from head to toe and just sort of see how your body's feeling, any aches, any pains. If there's any pain, adjust your pose. Ease up a little bit. We want to avoid any pains, but you may have slight discomfort as you will for any nice deep stretch, restorative or not. Again, it's just to be aware of the body. Become mindful of how you're feeling, where you're tight, where you're loose. And then simply come back to the breath, every inhale, every exhale. inhale, feeling calm, breathing in that positivity, that joy, and exhale, let the body sink. Relax and release any of that heaviness or pressure still within you. Just breathe it out. Begin to gently start to lift your way back up. Push that bolster off to the side again. Just wiggle the legs back together, bending your knees and just swing them to one side so you can come up into a neutral tabletop, sitting back on your heels. Open up the knees, and then again, we're going to bring that bolster vertically in front of us, tucking it right between the knees for our child's pose. Walk the hands up the bolster, resting that stomach and chest down on top, and turn yourself to one cheek. I will let you know at that halfway point to turn to the opposite cheek so we can keep the balance within that neck. Again, letting the eyes softly close. Take that moment to scan the body, and then come back to that breath. Every inhale, feeling the stomach, the chest expanding and almost pressing into the bolster below you like a light massage for the abs, the organs there. And every exhale, let the body sink into that bolster below. Treat it like every exhale is just you surrendering to the bolster. You're releasing that energy and letting the body just get the full benefits of our child's pose. Take a moment and just switch to the opposite cheek. Just keep that balance within the neck. And if you're still finding it difficult to stay focused on that breath, you can even count down every exhale from 10 to 1, sounding like inhale, exhale 10, inhale, exhale 9, counting down to 1, and when you reach 1, just start right back up at 10 and continue that cycle. Again, it's to give your mind something to focus on, but at least it's still on that breath. gently, gently begin to lift your way back up. Slide that bolster again to the side. Bring your weight to one side of the mat and kick those feet out in front of you. Just give them a bit of a shake. Now we're going to take that bolster and place it horizontally behind us, tucking it right up against the hips, and begin to lean your way back over that bolster for a nice deep back bend. If you find your head's hanging a little too far back, you can always take that block and place it underneath the head to keep it a bit lifted. This is great for anyone with any neck injuries or something like vertigo if you get lightheaded. Let the arms just rest out to the side. Eyes closed and come back to that breath. And this is my favorite pose for a very deep cleansing breath with visualization. So I want you to really feel and visualize every inhale you're taking in that bright white light. You're breathing it into the body with the inhales, letting it lift you up every inch, every corner. And every exhale, any gray energy, any stagnant energy within you is releasing through the mouth or nose. And then just continue that cycle. Every inhale, breathe in that white light, that positivity, that love, filling up and expanding the body. And every exhale, that gray energy within you, breathe it out, see it leaving the body and just drifting away. And just take a few of those last deep cleansing breaths before coming back to your natural breathing again. And then very lightly and softly begin to bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and let yourself just roll to one side so you can lift yourself up just enough to push that bolster out from underneath you before coming back down onto your back again. Bringing the knees to the chest, hug them nice and tight, and scoot your butt a little bit over to the right and let those knees drop all the way down to the left for a deep twist. Now here, if you need to ease up the twist, just push the knees away from the chest, or you can always bring that bolster underneath the knees to keep them lifted. To deepen the twist, just bring the knees towards the chest. You can keep those arms out to the sides, even bent at the elbows. As always, you can close the eyes again, come back to that breath. But be aware of the breath being shortened here as you are in a twist. But you can still keep that breath nice and slow and controlled. Don't give in to the rapid breathing. Feel that right shoulder just sinking towards the mat as your knees are heavy to the left. The body just wringing out any tension along the back, along the spine. Gently, gently begin to lift those knees back up. Scoot your butt a little bit over to the left and let those knees drop to the right. And just modify for whatever twist worked best for you, bolster or no bolster. This time you're feeling that left shoulder sinking towards the mat as your knees are heavy to the right. Come back to that breath, still slow and controlled. With every inhale, you might feel your body tighten up a little bit. But make sure that with every exhale, you're releasing that tension, allowing for space to be created within the body, and you'll notice that the twist may even become just that little bit deeper with each exhale because of that. Gently and softly lift those knees back up, making sure you're centered to the mat, and just hug the knees tight to the chest. Bring your forehead towards the knees, help neutralize the spine in that tight, tiny little ball. Relax the neck, straighten the legs down the mat, the arms down the mat, palms facing up. If you want to keep working on your hips here, you can definitely go back to butterfly legs with the soles of the feet together, knees apart, whichever suits your needs for Shavasana. Allowing the eyes to softly close. And take a few deep breaths. Since we were in a twist, we want to let our body expand again with those few breaths, and then return back to that natural breathing once more. Remember that your breathing is a stable, solid ground where you get to take refuge. It's our one constant, and that's why we always like to bring our focus there and create that mindfulness to that breath. It's almost like an anchor to our mind and our body. When we have that mindfulness, that awareness to the breath, our body just naturally becomes more light, calm, and peaceful. Allowing any thoughts that arise to just float right by. Simply allowing our body and mind to just be in this present moment. If you have your knees still apart, just take a moment to straighten them down the mat, letting them rest there. Softly wiggling the fingers and the toes, bringing some of that physical sensation back to the body. Reach those arms up over the head for a nice long body stretch. And leaving the right arm where it is, bring the left hand to the stomach. Bend at the knees and lightly roll to that right side, just resting for a moment in the fetal position, maybe using the right arm as a pillow for the head. Always taking a moment here and just thank yourself for dedicating time to your body, mind, and soul. Still keeping your eyes closed, begin to use those hands to help lift your way back up to that comfortable cross-legged seated position. Palms up over the knees, sitting nice and tall, let those shoulders drop down your back. Begin to exhale all remaining air. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and sigh through the mouth. Bring your hands together at heart center and rub those palms together to create your own heat and energy. placing the palms over the stomach. Allow that energy to float back inside, bringing yourself some self-positivity and power. Release the hands back to heart center with a few gentle blinks. Allow the eyes to open up. Namaste.